Well, Casey Kasem said it, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Well, this guy takes that literally and has wrapped his whole wonderful career around it. Back on the show, please welcome Professor Andrew Fraknoi. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning. Nice to be back with you.
Thank you, sir. We just ran around the room. What are your plans for Thanksgiving this year?
Looking up at the stars, enjoying the moon, the usual for astronomers.
All right, now, this is pretty big news because it's such an expensive endeavor, but I know that you've been concerned about it for a while. But the decision to have astronauts repair the Hubble Space Telescope.
Well, this is indeed one of the things we astronomers are giving thanks for this season. Absolutely. This is the decision coming after the previous NASA administrator acted more like the Grinch and took away the plans for the mission to go to the Hubble and repair it and make sure that it's got all the instruments needed for several more years of operation. Now the new administrator, Michael Griffin, has changed the plan and is going to send the astronauts in 2008 to take this amazing telescope, which has really revolutionized our understanding of everything out there, and give it the fix-up and the renovation it needs.
I have a question for you, and I want you to answer this because, this has been debated, and I'd love to hear your right up there front answer. How many planets are in our solar system?
Great question. This is the one that I'm not going to put on my final exam this year.
That's good.
I'm still wearing the black armband, by the way, for Pluto.
Right.
No, right now, in terms of the what we define as a full-scale middle-class planet, there's only 8 of them. But in addition, we now have at least 3 dwarf planets that round out the census of the solar system.
And they have moons.
And that's right. This is the big discovery that we knew that Pluto, the first dwarf planet that everyone thinks of, had a big moon. In fact, it's almost a double planet. That's been known for some years. But now the Hubble Space Telescope, notice how well we blend these stories together.
Sure.
The Hubble Space Telescope has discovered 2 new moons, little baby moons, but still 2 more moons around Pluto, making a family of 3 moons. And then what used to be called the 10th planet, now the second dwarf planet in the outer solar system, the one called Eris now, E-R-I-S, also has a moon, which we're calling Dysnomia. I can't even pronounce it. Dysnomia, which is the classical demon of lawlessness. Eris, the second dwarf planet, is the mythological goddess of strife and discord. So we have strife, discord, and lawlessness out there. Sounds like a Western.
It does. Or a law firm.
And then there are mini Plutos, slightly smaller planets than Pluto, out beyond that, and several of them have now been found to have moons. So even these dwarf planets behave in this sense like the planets we know. They have companions around them.
All right, now, Professor Fraknoi, take us through this. I think this is probably one of the best stories out right now. The construction and operation of this new system that is going to be searching the galaxy for alien transmission.
Well, this is very exciting news for those of us whose life ambition, this is mine certainly, is to still be alive when we make contact with Mark and Brian show listeners on other worlds. This is an important goal for all of us in astronomy. It's whether to know more seriously whether we have cousins or distant relatives among the stars. And the co-founder of Microsoft, Paul Allen, has funded, only partly, but has funded the construction of the largest and most complicated radio telescope to search for signals, radio signals, the very same kinds of signals with which we are right now communicating with your listeners, but coming from space that might signal the presence of alien civilizations. This is being built in Northern California. Already some parts of it are operating. It's going to be called the Allen Telescope Array. And it's operated by a nonprofit group called the SETI Institute, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Institute, a group devoted to finding, in a scientific way, life among the stars.
All right, now, Professor Fraknoi, is no part of this array in space? Is it totally earthbound?
It is earthbound because the kind of signals we're looking for make it through the Earth's atmosphere. so there's no reason to spend the extra money to put it into space. It uses, in fact, the same technology as the dish that many people use for television, and just looks out. But there's not one dish, but many, many dishes. The more funding we get, the more dishes we're going to build. Many, many dishes working together to have a kind of giant ear out on the universe, and see if we can overhear some intelligent signal of a civilization sending something out or talking to a colony somewhere else, and if we can just kind of spy on them and find out whether or not we're alone.
That's interesting. And one last thing, Professor, describe, if you could, the dark ages of the universe and why that's important.
Ooh, very romantic notion. I think many of our listeners know that the universe, as we understand it today, began with a very, very violent explosion called the Big Bang. And this Big Bang was brilliant. It was full of energy. And after a while, it faded. But before the stars were born, before the universe got a new kind of light, the kind of light we see when we look into the night sky, there was a period of time when the Big Bang had faded away, but the stars hadn't been born yet. And we astronomers have come to call that the dark ages of the universe. Nobody knows quite how long it lasted, maybe hundreds of millions of years. But during that time, there were no stars yet, no galaxies, and the universe would have been a dark, lonely place. And what our new instruments in space, not just the Hubble, but another space telescope called the Spitzer Space Telescope, have been able to show us is the beginning light that came, not even so much light, but the heat that came from the first giant stars after the Dark Ages. We're spying now on the very most ancient history of the universe, the beginnings of the formation of new stars and the beginnings of light.
Well, it sounds like a really exciting time in your world right now with the Hubble work and then this new array. It just sounds like you're excited.
Well, I think this is great, and we want to publicly thank all the people who contribute to this, taxpayers whose taxes go to pay for the National Science Foundation and for the people who make donations to astronomy groups. This is just, it's been a wonderful, wonderful time to be a scientist, and we want to appreciate that the public helps support this. And my job, and as the way I see it, is to try to help explain what your money's getting, why this is so exciting, and how we're beginning to explore our cosmic roots.
And you explain it so well. Prof, always good to talk to you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Same to you, and have a cosmic holiday.
Thank you.